Who's in? Are we live?
We live? Oh, we're good. All right, we're on.
I think we're on. I think we're good.
Praise God.
Praise God. Welcome to another episode of the ZÆch Podcast.
Yes.
Back on another episode. Still loving what we're doing.
Yes.
Having a great time doing it. We're just ZÆchs having fun.
It's very true.
Just ZÆchs.
I think we're going to get into that a little bit today.
Yeah.
So,
ZÆch, how's your week been?
man, it's been good. It's been long. I'll tell you that.
Long week.
Same time, it's been short. We've talked. I tell you that every time. I'm like, man, it's. I've done a lot, but it's just flown by. And that's how I feel like time's going recently, you know.
Right?
But was it this Tuesday we didn't have school?
This Tuesday
Man.
was no school.
Yeah, so we talked in the last podcast how Tyler was going to come to the P7 at Goreville and speak to the club and just talk a little bit what God has laid on his heart. But then I wake up about 7 o'clock, 7:30 Tuesday morning. No school. School's canceled for quote unquote icy and snowy roads. There was no ice. There was no snow.
Yeah, there was absolutely nothing
It
on
was
the road.
Literally just rain, water.
It was bad. I don't know how.
But hey, there is no school, and I was bummed there was no P7, but I was happy that there was no school. So you lose one, you gain one.
Yeah.
But-
When you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's very true.
But we're gonna try again this week.
Yep, hopefully. But they're supposed to get more winter weather and actually get it this time, not just rain.
Yeah. It's actually supposed to be about 6
But no.
to 11 inches or something crazy.
That
So
is insane. But yeah, my week was good. It made it feel shorter that we had a little break on Tuesday and it came back Wednesday. Just schooled it up. Had some ball games, but besides that, man, it was solid. It was solid.
yeah,
So what about you, man? How's your week been?
my week has been absolutely nuts.
Wow. All right, tell me about that a little bit.
So Monday, if you didn't know, I'm a part of a campus ministry over at SIU. Found Campus Ministry, shout out.
Yes.
We love Found Campus Ministry.
do.
We support them here on the podcast. But Monday, there's a little bit of testimony. I'm feeling the Holy Ghost already in the room. But so Monday we have Found, and we go upstairs, and typically we have worship in the room that we go into. But we have Bible study and we have worship on Monday nights. 5:45 we meet at Starbucks, and then 6:30
Little shout
we
out.
go upstairs, have Bible study and worship. Just a little shout out, a little plug. But anyway, we typically have worship inside the room that we're in
Mhm.
at the student center. So we then, this Monday was a little different. We had worship outside. They've got a grand piano upstairs in the student center, and we went and we had worship around the grand piano out in the public.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. It's
Yeah.
awesome. So we're just there worshiping God, and once we get back into the room, these two girls are sitting there. We're like, "Where'd you come from?" So of course we greet them, we talk to them a little bit, and then we start getting into the message, which was fantastic, by the way.
Yes, it was.
It was a fantastic message. Shout out.
A good friend of ours and a listener.
A
hopefully, of
listener.
this podcast, you know.
Probably listen to this right now.
Mhm.
Shout out.
Very good word. I was grateful to be a part and be there and witness this, but carry on. Let me not interrupt.
We'll have her on the podcast soon.
One of these days.
One of these days. But she begins to teach, and as she's teaching, in the middle of her teaching, this one of the girls, she speaks up and she's like, "I'm sorry to interrupt, but everything you're saying right now is just speaking to me."
Mm.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? Like, that's, God doesn't just lay something on your heart for no reason.
Right.
When God lays something on your heart, it's for somebody. So that's awesome.
Mhm.
But anyway, we get back into this, and she's beginning to talk about her experience at college, and she's like, you know, I was worried a little bit, but I found my friend here, and her friend's sitting there, and she's like, but this is what I've been looking for. And she was going to be late. Her and her friend were going to be late, and they were worried about it. They were like, well, what if we're late and we show up and we just walk in the middle of the Bible study and we kind of ruin stuff. And they prayed that the Bible study would prolong for, like, I don't know, just enough time for them to get there.
Yeah.
And Lo and behold, we had the worship outside of the room.
Yeah.
So we're walking back and we walk in the room and they're sitting there.
Yeah. Wow.
Just enough time for them to be there for the Bible study. Like
It's awesome.
that's God.
Yeah.
That's the God that we serve. That's shout.
And like, man, that's just amazing that while God was answering their prayer, that he was using it for his good. It's not like we were just late messing around.
No, we weren't messing.
We
We were praising God. We were in
We
the
were in the public,
Yeah.
worshiping his name while he's answering their prayer and making it all work out.
we had no idea.
Amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
Amazing. And,
So that, of course, we praise God for that.
Yeah.
We get to Tuesday.
and let me just put this in here. Like I said, I was so grateful to be a part of this Found meeting, and every time I've been, it's just been such a blessing. But just the pureness on these young ladies' faces as they were saying that God had laid this off for them, and they prayed this, and they found just tears running down their face. The spirit was so strong in that room.
Yes, it
and
was.
you could just see God already working on them before we even knew their names.
Yeah.
And just, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that just touched me so powerfully.
No, it was.
And
It was amazing.
You really had to be there to.
It was just God.
Yeah.
It was just God being God.
It was awesome. That's a great way to start your week.
Yes. So we start with that Tuesday. Meant to be teaching the P7.
Right.
We show up. We're in the bed at 6:30 in the morning. It's actually about 6:20. I get a text from a lady down at Viuna. She basically tells me what classroom we're going to be in that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a text 6:20. She's like, "Hey, you're going to be in this classroom today." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I get a call 10 minutes later. Due to winter weather,
We're
My-
out.
all Johnson County schools are going to be
Oh.
closed. So it's not just Vienna, but it was also
Yeah.
Warville.
Yeah. So
So, which again, no snow. There was no snow on the
Man.
ground. You walk outside, it was nothing.
and all right. So given it did snow that night, it snowed and it was frozen. But by 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, there was nothing on the roads, and it wasn't freezing. So, but hey, I don't know.
A day off.
I did need the day off. I'm not gonna lie. Long weekend, not a lot of sleep, and I slept in that day. But it'd been nice to meet. But anyway,
It was good. So we get into what happened. What happens next?
Wednesday's after Tuesday.
Yeah, Wednesday is after Tuesday.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I got that. I'm trying to think of what else happened. Wednesday was a little bit anticlimactic. Nothing too crazy. Thursday, I don't know. I love Thursdays. Thursdays are
Do you?
yeah, because it's
I used to say that. I used to say I was a Thursday guy, but I don't know where I stand on it now.
I like Thursdays, and the reason why is because it's one day closer to Friday.
Amen.
And-
I think that's the exact stance I had on it before.
And Friday was 11:30, basically across the entire of Southern Illinois.
Yeah. Why? Do you know why that is?
No idea.
I think it was
I think a teacher in service or something.
no, it was probably ZÆch Podcast in service day.
Ooh.
I think they said something like that.
They probably said that. They probably said it was ZÆch Podcast goes to Chick-fil-A Day. So they were like,
Yeah.
oh, they need Chick-fil-A for lunch. So that's what we did.
We did do that.
We went to Chick-fil-A, met some friends, had some Chick-fil-A, and then another testimony. So about a month ago, I had applied for a program. And in this program, you basically you got to give your resume, you got to give all your stuff that you've done throughout your whole career and
Yeah.
all your schooling and everything that you've done. So very thorough in what they want. So I do this, I fill out this application, I send everything in, and I'm sitting there waiting. And of course I'm praying, praying hard, nights like, God.
Yeah.
I know you're going to provide. I know you're going to give me an opportunity because this is your will.
Right.
And lo and behold, Friday afternoon about, 12:30,
Yeah, probably.
I got an email from this program, and they said, congratulations, you have been selected to be a part of the first stage of the interviews.
Mhm.
So praise God.
Yes.
God's making a way.
Mm-hmm.
where there seems to be no way, like he always does.
Like he always does.
And it's just another, God answers prayers.
Mhm.
God rewards people who humble themselves.
Mhm.
God rewards people who fast.
Mhm.
It's not, and this is nothing on me. This is all God. Like God did this. Like
Right.
I couldn't have done anything here. This was God making a way where there seemed to be no way.
Yeah.
But another testimony,
Awesome. I love it.
another shout.
And you did have a packed week, man.
Packed week.
That's
Well,
awesome. Oh,
we got one more.
man.
We got one more. This morning, I came up here to the church. We had a found meeting. We were discussing some logistics on stuff.
Hmm.
Come out later date. Be ready for it because
Be ready.
we're doing great things at Found. We're doing
Praise
awesome
God.
things.
Awesome.
Yes. But after I left up here, we had a meeting and I had some stuff to do to work on I think I was working on the Do of Heaven podcast a little bit. I was working on some future scripts, which if you don't follow the Do of Heaven podcast, follow that too. It's hilarious. It's the youth group here at the church. They do they talk funny.
I will say I'm not a part of that podcast, but I do get to listen. And man, what a listen! That first episode was. These kids are just full of passion and youth, quite literally, and they're funny. They're a funny group.
They are very funny. I love them. I love the youth group here. They're hilarious. But anyway, after I left the church, there was a Galentine's breakfast this morning, so unfortunately I wasn't able to stay and eat the food. I mean, it smelled.
Oh, you didn't stay?
No, I didn't. It smelled fantastic downstairs, though. It was.
Yeah, I bet.
Whew, when Sister Jennifer cooking up in the kitchen, whoo, come on, somebody.
Yeah. I did have some of that leftover pink lemonade tonight.
Yeah.
Woo, man, that'll change your life.
Ooh, pink lemonade.
Yeah, hits.
But anyway, after I left, I went up to the H&H gas station here in town.
Yeah.
And had breakfast with my grandpa, my dad, and my brother, who's on the last podcast. If you didn't know,
if you didn't make that,
if you didn't have the connection, little brotherly banter. But anyway, we get up to the Goreville Grill. That's what it's called.
Yeah, little restaurant here.
A little restaurant in the back of a H&H gas station, and we're sitting there, and this lady walks in. I have no idea who she is, what's going on. She walks in. Does anybody have a wrench, or does anybody have a pair of pliers or something in their car? And I typically do. So I walk out. I tell her, I'm like, I think I do. I got a set of wrenches, and I think I got pliers in my set as well.
Yeah.
So I walk out there and open it up. No pliers. Typically there is a set of pliers sitting right there, but I had taken them out. They're not in there. So I'm sitting there like, oh, what am I gonna do? Because their car wasn't working, and well, it wasn't their car, but their tire. They couldn't get the valve stem off.
Yeah,
and they were needing to air up the tire because it was low. And she was telling me this whole story about everything was going wrong for them today, and the devil was just attacking them. She was like just telling me everything that was going on, and I'm just sitting there like soaking this all in. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, this is God doing something here. So I begin to soak it all in, and I'm like, okay, I don't have the tools here, but I'm gonna run home real quick, and I'm gonna get the stuff. I'm gonna come back. You guys stay here. We're gonna get this figured out. So I run home. I get the stuff. I come back. We get the valve stem off, or the valve. I think it was a valve cover.
Yeah.
We get the valve cover off. We air up the tire, and put it back. Well, they didn't even put it back on because the guy was like, "I'm done with this thing. Like I ain't messing with this." And I'm like, "All right." So they get it off and air the tire. He's sitting there air the tire, and I'm like, "Ma'am, do you care if I pray with you right now?" And she just looks at me, tears begin to roll down her eyes. And she just tells me, "Yes, please. I need anything." So sitting right outside of the Goreville Grill, I'm standing there praying with these two people, never met, never talked to. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Because I could feel God was speaking through me into her life. I had no idea what was going on in the situation. She was telling me what was about the day, but I don't know about the situation. And God was just speaking through me to her, and it was just like, wow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah. Man, what a week.
Yes, it has been a crazy week.
Yeah. It's awesome, though.
And now we're up here on a late Saturday night.
Was our last one a Saturday night?
I think it was a Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. So
But we did record one after
And
the last game night. Was it after the last game night?
Could have been.
But we had game night tonight at the church. Shout out game night. A lot of shout outs tonight, but everything that I'm saying, it's good. It's fun. We have fun.
We do have fun.
But we had game night tonight. A lot of kids, a lot of fun. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But this episode of the podcast, we're going to get into the origin.
Wow, what a topic. It's long awaited. It is very well needed.
It is very needed. People are like, the ZÆch Podcast, but your name's Tyler.
The name, the things we say. The
Suzanne!
jokes, Suzanne. We're going to break it all down, and we're going to make sense out of this nonsensical deal that we got going on here. So I don't know, where should we start? Should we start kind of our friendship and when we started to?
Yeah, we can talk about the first message, really.
Yeah,
I think it was like a week before camp.
Would have been senior camp, or?
A week before senior camp. So
Yeah.
I would have been already at junior high camp.
Yeah.
So I worked every camp but kids camp this summer in the Illinois district.
So the camps, they go hyphen, right? Hyphen, junior high, senior. And then they have like family,
family, Spanish,
and then kids somewhere
and
in
kids.
there.
I think kids is right after
Which,
senior. Yeah, it's right after senior.
yeah, that makes sense. So just to let you know, Tyler was an absolute trooper this year.
I was up there.
So he was an attendee. He was a camper at Hyphen, the Hyphen age. He was a dorm monitor at junior, at senior, technically at family.
Yeah, a little bit.
But family camp, it was mostly adults, so you don't really need dorm monitors.
There's not really a dorm monitor, so.
But technically speaking, and then we went. Was that it?
I had to wrangle Connor a little bit,
but but anyway, that's not important. But yeah, so I remember this summer, and just a little background. We're gonna get down to the roots. I have known Tyler just about my whole life. He went to high school at the school I go to high school now, and our school, it's pre-K through 12. Yep. So growing up, you see the high schoolers and the kids that are older than you know them. They don't really know you because you're a lot younger, but you know them. And
I knew a little bit about you because AJ played baseball with your brother.
Yeah.
So yeah. AJ played.
So there were some distant connections, but I knew who he was. And
if you don't know who AJ is, we'll probably end up having him on the podcast
eventually. So we'll get into that. But so I always knew who he was, and we were always friendly, especially seeing each other at church stuff. And we were friendly for sure. And but I don't know. I was going to senior camp, and I really didn't want to drive. I was like, I'm dreading driving. It couldn't have been senior.
Yeah, it had to be.
No, because I drove with Brandon Nelson to senior camp.
Did I take you back? No?
Because Connor was there. Remember?
No, not for the podcast. Or not for the ZÆchs.
The first time I went, it was me, you, and Connor. So where was that, family? That sounds crazy, though.
That's not right. Where are we at here? Where are we at in the time?
Where are we at? Maybe we should have figured this out.
Oh, you went with Brandon Nelson last year.
It was 2024. I won Brandon Nelson.
No,
I left with Brandon Nelson.
Yeah. No.
I promise. No, I promise because we went to Champaign and hung out with Owen Garcia.
We stopped in. Oh, you did, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I spent almost that whole day in Champaign.
Because you weren't with us on the way back, but we stopped at Dairy Queen.
And listen.
And okay. Anyway,
that was at family. Had to have been. Oh, we're talking. We gotta remember we went to P7 too.
Yeah,
P7.
That's another. We'll get there.
All right. So we've lost it, but anyway,
you rode with me to junior high. You sent me a message.
I didn't go to junior high.
Not senior.
Senior. All right, guys. So we're here. We're back. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I texted him and I was like, "Are you going up?" And it was kind of a shot in the dark. I didn't we were friendly and we knew each other. But I was like, "Are you going up there?" Excuse me. Can I ride with you guys? And if you don't know, in my opinion, Tyler's a rough texter. You cannot get any emotion out of this, brother. He's a thumbs up guy.
I'm working on it.
He's a yes guy, no period. He's an okay guy, no period, nothing. No exclamation point,
Guys,
no question mark.
I'm working on it.
Praise God. We'll pray for him.
Yeah, please do. I need every prayer that I can get.
So when I first asked him, I thought this brother was like, no. He was like, I do not want this kid riding with me. But I think either I texted Connor or Connor texted me talking about the ride, having a ride, and to either senior or family, one of the camps, one of the first ones I rode up there with him. And he was like, yeah, well, we could take you up there. We'll figure it out and all this. And so, yeah, when in doubt, found my way to the Goreville church here, meeting them before the camp, and got in their car and rode up there. And that was it. That was the starting line right there.
We were on the road.
We were on the road to Wapella, Illinois.
And if you don't know,
we might get into it.
Oh,
but
we'll talk about the road that you take to get to Wapella.
So that's the beginning of me and Tyler.
Yeah,
and Connor, but Connor's not with us today.
Connor wasn't
last podcast.
Connor wasn't at senior high camp.
Yeah. So whenever we went, I do remember Connor being there, but whenever we went, it's not important. We'll have to figure that out later. But anyway, so that's the beginning of me and Tyler. So we were at senior camp.
Yep.
And they love their softball.
Softball is a big thing in Illinois.
So you have big softball tournaments and softball games, and you have a kind of a playoff style tournament where you have a pool play the first couple of days of camp, and then
Thursday's the tournament.
Yeah, and you play an all-star. You get selected for an all-star team, and whatever all-star team wins out of the campers, you play the preachers or the ministers team. So at this point, this could have been before or after I had rode with Tyler, but we knew each other at this point. We were pretty close. In camp, he was my dorm monitor. So we were like, holy cow, this is amazing. And then turns out he was also my coach.
That was all by chance.
So
if you don't know how it's selected.
Yes. It's random.
It's completely random. Random. He said the man in charge. Can we say his name?
Go for it.
Brother Bowski. He's in charge of softball. He sits all the boys down, and girls, boys and girls, and he's like, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he just all the friends are sitting by each other, and they get put on different teams. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he switches up. He goes 2, 3, 4, because at that point people are trying to switch, and they're like, what number? I want to move down here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on your team. But you were the first one.
I was.
First one.
They called my name out.
And I was team 4. Team 4.
Yeah.
So Zach Green gets selected to come and be on team number 4 at this point.
Yeah.
And then we get our next player, who is another Zach. We are so confused.
So right now, this is and this is where we're getting into the real stuff, the meat of it. My name, obviously, as you know, is Zach. It's spelled ZECH. My full name is Zechariah, like the book in the Bible. Our good friend, Zach, that was on our team, selected second. Name was Zach. And it was spelled ZACH.
Yep.
So our creative minds took over.
Literally.
And
immediately.
I don't know if it was you or who it was.
I think you said that
we're
something like, hey, what's your name?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm Zach. You said,
like,
wait,
I'm Zach.
I'm Zach. And then I think you said something about like Team Zach.
Yeah.
All right. So I think you said that I was a Zach too.
Yeah.
I think you called me a Zach, and I was like, all right, I'll run with it.
So we had Zach Johnson, we had Zach Green, which is my name, and we had Zach, his name. We're not going to get into that yet. Of course, we're going to lay it out.
Another Zach.
I don't know if we should say his because there was some double entendre behind it, if you remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. So the next player and the next player and the next player and the next player and next player. None of them are actually named Zach.
No, they have no idea who we are. We never met any of these guys.
I had known
other.
a couple of them, and I was friendly with a couple of them, but most of them I had never known. They were new to me. So we introduced ourselves.
Yeah,
I'm Zach, and I'm Zach, and I'm Zach.
And then everybody on the team fed into it. They were like, I'm Zach.
Yep.
I'm Zach. All right.
Yep.
We're no longer Team 4.
And
we're Team Zach.
Zach.
We're the Zach team.
And right there, 2 minutes after our teams have been chosen, we all are Team Zach, and we're in unison. And then so we go and we start playing these games.
We
and
get to the field.
The best part is that we were solid.
Yeah.
Man, our team was really solid. But anyway, you can get into that a little bit if you want how we performed. But
Coach Zach Johnson.
Coach
we'll get
Zach
into that
Johnson,
a little bit.
But we so slowly throughout these games and throughout camp, we start thinking of names, and I couldn't pinpoint who said who. But these names are running around the camp a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Some of the ministers and some of the coaches and some
like who are these Zachs?
Team Zach. What do they mean? And
ain't no way all these guys are named Zach. That's not real.
And everybody's coming back. We're like, let's go, Zach. Here we go, Zach.
Yes.
And every single one of them. And so people's hearing this that are watching the games, like, what is going on right now?
And we got our fan section.
Yes.
Shout out the fan section.
Yes.
Yap Zach and Zap Yak. Zach Yap.
Man, there's a lot. So we start picking names. So my name's Zach Green. We had a Zach Tan. We had a Zach Black with the double entendres, Jack Black.
Yep.
We had a Zach White. We had a Zach Yellow. So that was kind of our least creativeness.
Yeah, we were just doing colors.
Yeah, we had but one of our favorites,
Zach the Shack.
Zach the Shack.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
Come on. If you didn't know, Jackie Chan.
Yes.
Kung Fu Master.
Yes. So Zach Black, Zachy Chan, and these guys' names were so not this. Like, it was not even close. Zach the Shack, Zach Tan, Zach White, Zach Black.
Zach Hat.
We had Zach. Oh, man. I love Zach Hat. I forgot about him. What a guy. Zach Hat. Man.
Any other Zachs? I think that's all the Zachs.
I feel like we got to be forgetting somebody, but maybe not.
Who is he had the arm sleeve. What's his name? Zach Attack.
Zach Attack.
Zach Attack.
And we had Zach Attack.
Yes.
And I think that rounds it off.
That's everybody.
If we missed one, you could, leave
if you are a Zach
or email us.
And we left you off, I sincerely apologize.
Yeah. It's not from heart. It's just been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But we still love you.
We love you so much.
You're still a Zach.
Yes. But we get these names, and now it's just taken, excuse me. And the whole camp is hearing about this and all these Zachs, and they're loving the names. And so we're really, and like I said, we're really solid, and we're winning games. And we did make it to the championship.
Yeah.
And we did win.
Well, I'm pretty sure we run ruled.
Yes.
The first team.
Yes.
We got the playoffs, and we were 1 seed. We won every game of the regular season too.
Mm-hmm.
So we won every game in the regular season. We get to the playoffs. We're the 1 seed, of course. Team number 4. I was the last captain selected. Team number 4. Okay, I'm looking at you, Zach Bowski. I love Zach Bowski. He's hilarious. But we get into it, and this team's nuts.
Yeah.
We can play.
Yeah.
We go undefeated in the regular season. We win 2 games first day, 2 games second day. Nobody beating us.
Yeah.
We get into the playoffs. We're 1 seed. We're playing the 4. We run roll them. Our game's over quick. We go watch the other game. It was close.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Very close game. And then we played again.
For the championship here.
Championship game against Timmy. Was it Timmy?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, Timmy was. Shout out Timmy.
Yeah.
Timmy, I love Timmy.
Yeah.
He was wearing that penguin bucket hat.
Man,
I want that bucket hat. I want that bucket hat.
But
we get into the championship game. My Zachs are playing. And I think we run roll them again, don't we? Yeah, I think it was
we beat them easily.
No, I think it was a quick game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Well, we were playing on the big field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I hit a home run that game.
Yeah. Multiple home runs.
Probably.
We were just a solid team.
Yeah, everybody was hitting them. There was no fence.
We kept the runners moving.
So if you hit it and it went, you're getting around the field.
You get around the field.
And on that shorter field, whoo,
you're running.
Boy, Zach Johnson can fly on that field.
Yeah, that's right.
I had a couple stand-up triples.
Right. That's exactly right. But yeah, so we win the Campo Championship,
Yes.
and
And it comes down to me having to select my all-stars.
Yeah.
Very hard.
man, because with a team like that, and you can only pick so many.
Yeah, I think it was 6.
Yeah, out
You're
of our 9,
Yes.
10 we had.
We had 9 on the team, 10 counting me.
Yeah.
So 3 of my guys, 3 of my ZACs, they were unfortunately, they had to be cut. And that was a hard decision.
Yeah.
Like having to cut one of the ZACs, I was pleading with Zach Bowski.
Just have them all.
I was like, Bowski, we went undefeated.
Yeah.
My team is all all-stars.
Yeah.
Can we just have the Zach all-star team? And he's like, nah, not having it. And I'm pleading with him. I'm like, come on, Bowski. We won every single game.
Yeah.
We're the team. He wouldn't have it. So we get to the all-star selection. I think I dropped Zach.
We don't have to name drop them.
Yeah, we don't have to name drop
We
him.
know.
Yeah. They know who
And
they
the thing
are.
is, great people, great
Yes,
players.
I love them.
It's just such a it was such a competitive league, you know.
And it was such a competitive team.
Yeah.
Everybody was so good on that team. But we're getting back.
Yeah.
Never mind. A little chuckle. But sorry about that. Getting back into it. We get into the All-Star game, and Bowski's up there. He's talking in the front of the tabernacle, and he's announcing the All-Star teams. And I'm up there. I'm like, you should announce them by their ZAC name. And he's like, okay, tell me their ZAC name, and I'll do it. So he does. I give him their actual name and then their ZAC name, and he's like, okay, cool. So he puts it all into his computer, and he's sitting there announcing them. And on we were the black team, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So since I was a championship team, I was one of the coaches. So my team was the black team, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there was the white team. So like chess. And we get into it. Zach Green, number 1 pick, going to me.
Yeah.
So again, the Zachs were
reunited.
Yeah. He's on my team. We're having a blast. That's where the catchphrase, we're just Zach's having fun.
Just Zach's having fun.
Oh.
So just to pause. When we talk about Bowski, that's just the guy, commissioner of the softball league. Think of him as the guy that's over it all. So not to be confused there. And then you hear us saying we're just Zach's having fun. It's in all of our descriptions and all of our bios. And that's where it was birthed. We were truly just a group of guys that were calling ourselves Zach's, having a blast.
And during some of the games, so Bowski would umpire. And in those games, when he umpired, most time he'd want to hit. Because, I mean, when you're just standing there in the blazing hot sun, you're like, oh, this is bad.
Right.
So, of course, he's going to do what he wants to do. He's the commissioner. So he steps in. He's like, all right, I'm hitting. So when he joined the Zach team, Zach Bowski. That's where that came from, if you were a little confused why I keep calling him Zach Bowski. He was a Zach, too.
Yeah.
We had a couple of those Zachs. Zach ministers.
Yeah.
If you want to say that.
We don't got to get into it, but.
No.
We would just take literally their name and put Zach in front of it, and then you're a part of our team.
Yep.
So
then you get into the rest of the team. The Zachs were unfortunately split. We had 3 Zachs on our team, 3 Zachs on the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Saddening.
Very sad.
But we get into the All-Star game. And it's an all right game at the beginning.
Yeah, it was solid.
But then we started picking up some steam. I was not able to play.
Yeah.
I was able to play the field. I could play first base and I could pitch, but that was pretty much it. I wasn't allowed to hit. So we get into playing, I think it's like the 3rd inning or something, and by this time I think we're up pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at this time everybody else that was on the All-Star team was like, what's my Zach name?
Yeah.
So everybody just got a Zach name now.
And when we had that All-Star team, we did split up the Zachs, but the best players, not all the best players in the league were on our Zach team.
No.
there were so many really good players that weren't on our ZÆch team. It's just the ZÆch team chemistry, truly,
Like
I think carried us.
Yeah, like Timmy.
Yes.
Timmy was good. Timmy
And
could pitch.
you had to think about like
but he was a coach. But
in
he
the
was
team,
also he
the
was able to
team
play.
that we finished with, our all-star team.
Yeah.
Like the Avengers.
Yeah.
We were really, really, really solid.
And to get into a little bit of how the All-Star game works. So the All-Stars are split up by teams. So every team gets 6 selections, or 6, 4, or 5, 4, 3, something like that.
Depending on how good you were.
Yeah, depending on how you seeded in the actual tournament. So we got the most because we won. So because of that, we had our team going, and what was I going to say?
We were talking about the All-Star game, how we won.
Yes, well, we're talking about how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so how it works. You get into whoever wins the All-Star game faces the Preachers. So this is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's your All-Star team is going to be playing against the Preachers, and I think we 10-run them. So we were done in very quick. So the next day we're playing against the Preachers, which they allowed Timmy to be on our team, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Or something of that
I
nature.
wasn't allowed to play.
Yeah, something of that nature.
Yeah, Timmy took over for me as coach because I wasn't allowed to play anything.
Yeah.
Since I was a dorm monitor or something.
Yeah.
So I wasn't allowed to play first or anything. So I was umpire that game.
Yeah. And just to break this down. So was this on Friday or Thursday?
Thursday we won the No.
Because it was Camp Fest.
Thursday was the championship game. Friday was the All-Star game into the Preacher game.
Yeah.
Which
Camp
Fest went by so fast.
Yeah.
And they had to get dinner ready quickly.
Yeah.
Because we were smoking.
Yeah.
Too.
So we believe it was Friday that they had this thing called Camp Fest, and all of the campers come down to the softball field, and they cooked up hot dogs, and they had snow cones. And
yeah, it's a great time.
They were all like,
I say forced to, but like
everybody loves it.
Everybody, yeah.
And there's there's it's just such a blast, and you can find some of that on the Illinois Youth Instagram page, just some of that experience, and
it's awesome.
But it's just such a good,
youth.
Yes, for real. It's such a good time, and so the atmosphere is great, and the word of the ZÆch team has just spread like wildfire. And yeah, I'll let you carry on because you were going something with that, but I just wanted to clear that up. That this is a big deal.
Yeah, this whole game is a big deal. So we get into the All-Star game was a little close, and I was sad that the other ZACs they didn't get to participate in the championship against the Preachers, but we get into this last game. Like I said, I'm unable to coach. I'm unable to play first or pitch or anything. So Bowski, he assigns me to be a umpire. And Brother Eddie.
I love Brother Eddie.
We love Brother Eddie.
We can move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. But shout out Brother Eddie.
Yeah, I love him.
All right. So I'm sitting there behind the plate, having to umpire this game. You guys are playing. You guys are playing good. The ZACs, of course, they're showing up. They're playing.
I think we were up 14-4 or 11-1. I remember it was a 10.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was a 10-run lead.
And I don't know if you were going to say this, but I have to get it off my chest. We agreed that since time was running low, we are going to go to, was it 7? Yeah. We're going to go to, we'll only play 7 innings. Or was it 5?
It was 5 innings.
All right. So we're only going to play.
So we had plenty of time.
Yeah.
But we agreed
before the game
that there were going to be 5
we're going to play 5 innings for this championship game. So it's the 3rd or the 4th, or it could have been the 5th even.
Well, we get into, let's start at the beginning of the game.
Okay, go for it.
We get into the game. We have the national anthem.
Yeah.
And they announce all the players.
Yeah.
Awesome. And of course, the ZACs get announced as ZACs.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And I think I got called Zach Johnson being an umpire behind the plate too, which was hilarious.
Yes, it's awesome.
But we get into the game. You guys are doing amazing. You guys are up big time. I think 3 in, 3 out first inning.
Yeah.
They got 3 up, 3 down like crazy. 3 straight outs, first inning. I think, was it Brother Coltharp hit fourth?
Probably.
Or was it Brother Maynard?
Probably any of them. No, that's probably not the latter.
I don't remember what the lineup was, but they could hit.
Yeah.
But you guys were playing deep, and they'd hit fly balls, and you guys would run, catch them.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Tan.
Zach Tan, man.
He could run.
Gold glove out there.
Yes. But they were whooping up on the Preachers.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. So they get into like the 5th inning, and they're up, what, 11-4 or 11-3 or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I think the Preachers, they maybe score 1. They're the home team, of course. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Home field advantage. But they don't win.
No.
The 5th inning rolls around. They get 3 outs.
The game is over.
The game is over.
And ZÆch's win. But
there's an announcement that dinner's not ready yet, and there's plenty of time. We're going to play another inning.
Mm.
So they play another inning, and I think the ZÆchs, they maybe score 1 that inning. And I think the Preachers, I think they didn't score again, did they?
No.
I think you guys held them.
Yeah.
In the 6th inning, too.
And then,
And the 6th inning ends, and game over.
But
a bunch of ZÆchs win versus the Preachers. Proud coach moment. Because if you didn't know, the Preachers never lose.
Mm-hmm.
But they had just lost the night before in basketball. We won't get into that.
We might.
I'll let Zach Green talk on that one.
Go ahead. You finish
But
this.
We still have plenty of time. My opinion, the game should have been over in the 5th.
Yeah.
Being the umpire, I'm not gonna argue with people that are over everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not an arguer.
Yeah.
Realistically, I'm not a.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
Just a game.
Realistically, just a game. Which they should have viewed it that way too.
Yeah.
And they should have been like, "Well, we lost."
Right.
But whatever. And 7th inning rolls around. They announce, "Hey, we're gonna have another inning because dinner's still not ready. We still got plenty of time. Let's keep playing. Camp Fest's still going. Everybody's still eating hot dogs, nachos, snow cones. They probably ran out of snow cones at this point. They were throwing snow cones. It was crazy. It was a mess.
It was crazy.
Making everybody clean up after. But 7th inning rolls around. ZÆchs don't score a run. They get shut out that inning. And then the Preachers come in.
And the floodgates opened.
Ooh. That 7th inning rolls around. They started hitting.
It was just bomb after bomb. And just finding gaps after gaps.
Bowski.
We just couldn't.
Brother Coltharp.
We couldn't.
Brother Maynard. Who else?
The Naves. Zach Nave.
The Naves. Zach Nave.
Those are some athletes.
The Naves can play.
Yeah.
Naves can play. Brother Shaw. Brother Shaw was on the team. And
Brother Adam Shaw. Man.
He had
surprised us.
Yes.
He got a couple hits.
Oh. I just realized we left out of Zach.
No.
Zach Darrell.
You're right. But that's controversial.
Okay, controversial Zach. But we had one of our players get hurt.
Yeah. Zach Hatt, I believe.
Zach Hatt got hurt. He could not play. And because of that, we replaced Zach Hatt with Zach Darrell, who is she was a worker.
Yes.
We know her. She's cool.
Yeah.
Shout out Darrell.
Yeah.
Darrell the Barrel.
Yeah.
But Zach Darrell was forced to play for the Preachers that inning.
Mm.
So she got a little flame from everybody.
They were not liking her.
All the campers, they were upset
because you want to see the Preachers lose because they always win. Yeah. And we had them.
It was an underdog story.
It was.
And Brother Adam Shaw, he comes up to bat, and they have her run for him. I mean, I understand. It's hot.
Man, it was so hot.
That was such a hot day. Friday was so hot. And he was preaching that night.
He was.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
I understand it.
And he had preached the night before.
Yeah.
So,
Which,
praise God.
We're not going to get into preaching.
Yeah, it's the origin story.
This is the origin story, but
So, we'll save that for a
wow.
later one. That's good stuff.
Great messages from Adam Shaw.
Yes.
And we get into this last inning, and it's like Zach said, the floodgates were open. They were hitting. They couldn't stop. Daryl was being forced to run, and all the campers were mad at Zach, Daryl, and
booing
her for actually running and not like running half speed rather than she was running full speed, and it was tough
situation.
Yeah, but lo and behold, I think it was, can't remember who hit the walk-off. I remember who walked across the plate. I think it was Brother Titus Johnson. Unc. He's not actually my uncle.
Same last name,
so but
never know.
He is Unc. We love him.
But yes, love him.
Great youth president.
The best
youth
in North
president.
America. The best actually in the world, probably.
I never met anybody else.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. I've met one, at least.
But I think Brother Titus Johnson was the winning run at the end of the game. They hit a walk-off, and it was sad. All the campers were up. So I said earlier, trash was everywhere. Trash was everywhere. Because after that game, people were throwing the nacho containers. People were throwing the snow cones, the cans.
Because let's just break it down like this, all right? Out of a storybook, we get these two ZÆchs just wander onto a team, and our names are actually ZÆch. And then you get the names, and then you get this team that nobody really thought was going to be too good. Team 4. So
random coach. Who's this guy?
Random coach, random players that none of us really have a connection with each other, but we united through ZÆch, through that name. And man, our chemistry, we just played so well together, and we supported each other, and we won every single game, and we won the championship of the campers. Mm-hmm. And then our coach and me and a few of the ZÆchs won the All-Star game. And then we even adopted a couple more ZÆchs along the way. Mm-hmm. And man, it's just this is the team that's going to breed the preachers.
Story. This is the storyline
of the ZÆchs. And I know this probably sounds silly, all this ZÆch stuff, but it was so fun to be a part of. And so we do, the ZÆch stuff, and it comes to the preacher game, and it's just looking up, and it's looking up, and it's looking up. And then nope, it just gets tore away from us. And ultimately we did know it was just a game and kind of get over that kind of stuff. But it was sad, and we just went to dinner and kind of got over it. It was such a fun time. And
yes, senior high camp was very fun, very memorable.
Yes, and we shared all that just to let you know what this is.
Yeah.
And we'll get, do you have anything else to speak on that, or should I?
Well, I mean, because
I can move on to.
Do you want to talk on where the podcast came from?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So I don't remember when or where, and we're really not going to be able to figure this out. But I
believe it was on the way up to senior high camp.
Okay. So that's what he believes.
Connor wasn't there for the first one.
Okay. So I don't know if I believe that.
We'll talk to Connor. We'll go get a confirmation.
But regardless, it doesn't matter. We were in a car, Tyler's car.
I think it was grandma's car.
Could have been his grandma's car. We were in a vehicle that worked that belonged to somebody
in my family.
In Tyler's family.
Yes.
And we were just driving, and it's such a long drive. Well, how long do you think the drive to Wapella, Illinois is?
Well, from Goreville.
From where we are
in Goreville.
Think about.
Here's what you do.
Wait, we'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
How long do you think it is?
It's 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours.
Almost 4. I mean,
4, and then when you stop, and it can get dragged out if you eat, and it's just so boring of a drive. You're just going north.
Yeah. North on what?
this little road called 51.
51. So from Goreville, you get on 57.
Yeah.
You get off at Sandoval, Salem, Sandoval.
Yeah.
And you make a left.
Take you left.
Get all the way over to Sandoval.
Yeah.
And you take a right.
Then you take you a right.
You get on 51, and you take 51 straight on up.
You take that sucker straight up.
51 up to Wapella.
Take you turn on 51.
You get right past campground.
Yep.
You get that little fake U-turn in the
Yep.
middle of the road.
Yep.
A little gravel patch.
Yep.
Illegal, but we did it.
We did it multiple times. But we're on our way up to this camp of whatever it was, and you get bored. Like we love listening to music, we love singing, but man,
we listened to
so much,
probably an hour of music. Listened to a podcast,
and that gave us our own idea. We called some of our buddies,
some of our pals,
some of our pretty good friends, and
great friends. We
just started talking, and it turned into me and Tyler looking at each other and saying, "This is our podcast." And this had to have been post senior camp. Now we're talking about it because we said the ZÆch Podcast.
Well, that was
no,
the ZÆch. We had another podcast after senior camp on the way back. So the first episode up there was just
not been a ZÆch Podcast. So we were just podcasting on the phone, and we don't know if they were actually listening to us on the other end.
No,
probably not.
We had multiple times where we faked, went on mute. They went on mute.
Yeah. But
it was funny.
Yeah, it was a good time. That doesn't matter.
I have no idea what we talked about.
And this is how it started.
I think we talked about our week.
Talked about our week. That's how we started
because I talked about junior high camp. You talked about how you had basketball or something that week before, and coach was going to be mad at you or something for missing this week, and just literally whatever came to mind. Kind of like
what this is. This is a little more organized than that.
Yeah,
because we would just talk for 2.5 hours on whatever.
Yeah,
like literally whatever came to mind. So we gave you the ZÆch origin, where the name came from, where the A and the E on the title of this podcast is from, because mine is spelled with an E, and the other original ZÆch is spelled with an A.
Right.
So, and that's what our name looked like in my head on everybody.
Everybody was
ZÆch Black, ZÆch Chan, ZÆch Tan, ZÆch Green, ZÆch Yellow, ZÆch White. We can get into ZÆch Hat. You know what I mean?
So many ZACs.
So many. ZÆch Johnson, and that's what the ZACh looked like. So we broke that down. And the podcast, we just broke that down to you. We would just get in the car and be bored. So we're going, okay, let's talk. And there's our podcast.
But we didn't have an audience.
No.
Because, I mean, you can talk.
Yeah.
You can sit in a car and you can talk, and yeah, it's fine. But, I mean, that's not a podcast.
Yeah.
If you have a podcast, you've got listeners.
And we had at least
four
people hearing
Four
it.
people hearing.
I don't know if they were listening.
One was probably listening.
Yeah. But I don't know how many were listening, but they were definitely hearing something. But I don't blame them. We were talking about
random
whatever
stuff, ZAC's basketball schedule, my week beforehand. Some of them had already experienced, so it was like, yeah, I already experienced that. Why am I going to listen to that again?
Right.
But
so I think that's covered a lot of ground so far. I've noticed in these last couple of podcasts, we shout out some lady named Suzanne. Suzanne, are we live? Suzanne, where's my coffee?
Of an inside joke.
You might be able to enlighten me on that. Where did that originate?
So, I'm going to be honest. It was off the dome.
Yeah.
Completely off the dome. We were...
Here we go again.
No.
Okay, guys. We don't have a clue where we've ever been at.
Yeah. Mind you, this has been a long time coming for this to happen.
Yes.
So remembering this.
It's been 7 months easily.
I know I'm going to get flamed by somebody for not writing all this down. Brief, but
you should. But it is probably 12 o'clock at night, and the brains are.
We want to get this episode out to you guys.
We need to. Not only do we want to, we need to.
It's a need.
But go ahead, carry on with that.
So we were in the car, and I think it was one of the moments that they were like in between muting us and us muting them, and I was just being me, I guess. and I think I shouted, "Suzanne!" I wasn't gonna shout into the mic. I kind of dulled my voice back a little bit,
Right.
but I just shouted Suzanne, and you kind of looked at me and you're like, "Who's Suzanne?"
Who is Suzanne?
And then we had this run-on joke that it was our assistant
Your assistant.
on the podcast. Suzanne, our mic's on. Suzanne, where's my coffee? Suzanne, are we live? Suzanne, what are the listeners saying right now? We'd have multiple call-ins. Suzanne, get caller on line 1. Get that caller in. Take caller line 2. Get caller 1 off of here. Crazy stuff Suzanne would do.
Yeah.
But she did it every time.
She did. She really did. And so Suzanne's not a real person.
Yeah, if you didn't pick up on that,
unfortunately. So if you think we're yelling at some poor lady that's working for us, we're not.
Yeah, I don't have the funds to hire a person to run all this. This is literally just me and Zach.
Yeah. Mainly just Tyler. I kind of just sit here and open my mouth.
Hey, this is I couldn't have a solo podcast. I'd be talking to that wall over there.
But yeah, it's man, a long time coming. It's been such a fun, and it all jumbles together, and we can't figure out our dates, and we can't figure out this and this and this because this all happened in 1 month.
Yeah,
3.5 weeks of camps and services and driving 3 hours back and forth, and it all happened really close together, so it gets really jumbled up easily. But I can tell you it was a great time.
Yeah, this summer was absolutely nuts.
Not even just physically and just entertainment wise,
but like spiritually, emotionally.
And not only did I meet some of my best friends, and I got to meet so many new people, and I reconnected with some of my best friends that I'd met in past years. But man, God just moved in such a mighty way. And I know this podcast has kind of been really lighthearted. We got a little bit into their testimonies earlier. It's been really lighthearted and just our backstory because it's needed. And I don't know if people are going to love this podcast, but it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And we might not have been as prepared as usual or anything, but the grand scheme of that we get out of this whole thing is that we play jokes with the ZÆch Podcast and the Suzanne and all these things. It was such a good time, but
it's all for His glory.
Our mission is, to uplift the kingdom of God and bring glory to His name, and that's all we're here for, and that's all we aim to do with this. So it's
not to lift ourselves up, it's not to lift our names up, but it's to lift His name up, the name of Jesus,
and just put a creative, fun, interactive spin on it.
Yeah.
So, we love everybody that listens to this podcast. We love doing it. Because these are just our conversations we're putting out.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's literally like me and Zach are in a car driving up 57, making a left, making a right, taking 51 straight to Wapella.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. We would have this exact same conversation if we were in the car right now.
And it's just as random, and it's just as misinformed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's just as, and we just...
It's genuine.
Yeah. And we just love talking about
this is us,
everything. And so we truly do thank you guys for just listening to us yap about random stuff. It's so fun, and we love doing it. But that's the origin.
That is the origin of the ZÆchs.
The
ZÆchs, the podcast.
Yeah.
Suzanne.
Did we miss anything?
Suzanne, did we miss anything?
Suzanne's giving us a thumbs up, so I think we're good.
Wait, thumbs up that we missed something? Or thumbs up?
No, thumbs up that we're good.
Oh, right.
So,
but how long this episode is? We've been talking for a while now.
So, we're going to figure this out. But if we didn't miss anything, this might be a wrap-up. This might be landing the plane, you could say. But we love you guys.
Yeah.
We love the Lord with all of our heart. And like I said, this might have been a little more lighthearted than usual. But fellowship and just talking and hanging out
it's having fun. It's showing people that God's not boring.
Yes.
A lot of people, they look at church and they're like, it's boring.
Yeah.
It's not.
You don't got to make it that.
No, God is not boring.
Yes.
God is awesome.
God doesn't want you to be stone-faced and depressed and all the time.
No.
He wants you to have fun.
He wants you to rejoice. He wants you to be happy. The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Exactly.
Like that.
Exactly.
He wants you to have joy.
Yeah.
So you can make it through this life without experiencing life as everybody else does.
Yeah, and we might not be breaking down Bible verses and doing this and getting into like doctrine and theology. That might not be how this podcast is, which that's great, and we need that, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And this podcast is a little more, out there. It's a little more just creative and, for lack of better words, silly. You could say, you know what I mean? Kind of a
Think about the bio.
term.
We're just ZÆch's having fun,
and that's literally what it is. We're just having fun, and the most important part is that we're centered around our love for the Lord.
Yeah,
and that's what's rooting us. It's just we're revolving around God and what He wants for us. So last podcast we got a little more spiritual. We talked about, and next podcast we've got something planned for you guys that's hopefully going to be really good.
Hopefully it'll be soon.
Yes,
we have no idea when it'll happen, but we hope it'll be soon.
We have some winter weather coming. To our region.
So please pray for us for that.
Yeah.
The winter weather, it's supposed to be absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm. But man, I think we covered almost everything. And if you guys have questions, find us somewhere.
We've got
all right, we have an email. Which is insane to say. We have an email. Is it just ZÄchPodcast@gmail.com?
Yeah.
ZAECH podcast at gmail.com. So shoot us an email.
Ask us.
Yeah. Oh, jinx.
Okay.
Okay. Same time. But yeah, ask us questions. Give us thoughts. If we forgot anything, if you want clarity on anything, we can cover up. I know this has been forever podcast, really long one today. But
also, follow our Instagram.
Do it.
The ZÄch Podcast Instagram.
Man, we're running up. We've got Apple Podcasts. We've got Spotify. We've got YouTube.
We have YouTube.
And so it's all under ZÄch Podcast.
If you don't have the Apple, or you don't have the Spotify.
Yeah. Get on YouTube.
Yeah, just get on YouTube. Everybody's got YouTube.
That's right. Exactly.
Everybody watches YouTube videos. So just get on there, look up ZÄch Podcast.
And if you can't find it because there's still a new account, then just email us or
email us.
Text one of us. We'll send you the link. But yeah, follow us on the Instagram. We'll have updates and stuff on there, hopefully. But it's been real.
It's been fun.
And it's not been real fun. I'm just kidding.
You say that every time.
I know. One of these days, I'm gonna slip up and catch you on the good side. No, it's been a blast.
It's been so much
again. Fun. Man, I love it. I love that we're here. I love that we're doing it. I love we got to share this origin.
It's been
story.
So much fun just talking about everything.
Yeah.
The origin. Just remembering everything that we did over the summer is it's unreal. The friendships, the heartache at the altar.
The best part, honestly.
Yeah. Hearing Jesus in the car weeping. Yeah. Shout out Draylon Young for making me cry much.
You guys are gonna pick up so much more little inside things and just kind of mannerisms, because there's a lot of them. Just little things, small things.
Like hearing us through the microphones smiling.
Yeah, I've been smiling. I love it. Even though I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's very late.
Man.
Way too late.
Yes, way too late. Yeah, but praise God, we're here. We're having fun.
Pretty sure it's Sunday. I'm preaching tonight, so I've got to. I do need to get some sleep.
Yes. So,
but
we appreciate you guys listening to the ZÄch Podcast episode 3.
Every single one of our listeners. If you guys want to follow. Connor said on the last one, hit the little bell, and now you can. You
literally can hit the bell now.
You can hit the bell, and I had no idea you could hit the bell on Spotify too. There's a bell.
Yeah.
And
so he didn't claim to be a prophet.
He didn't claim to be, but yeah.
If you need clarity on that, just watch the last episode. He didn't claim to be a prophet, but if there's a bell,
smash that bell.
Click the bell,
because you're gonna want to stay updated on every single ZÄch podcast coming out.
Yes.
In the near future. So. Yes. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Be safe on the roads. It's going to be absolutely nuts down here in Seoul.
Yep. Southern Illinois. But just
God bless you all.
God bless you all. Be on the lookout for these next couple of podcasts. This next one I really feel is going to be a good one, and it's going to be a 180.
Oh, it's going to complete 180.
So be looking out for that. But yeah. God bless. Stay safe. And we love you guys. In Jesus' name.